So I have finished my re-listen of the first 4 books of the Stormlight Archive, including the novellas, which I had never listened to before, in the right order, in between the books. And I am excited for book 5 now. I'm not sure if... I know the Stormlight Archive is going to be over 10 books, but the 5th book is meant to bring the end to this arc of the story. So does that mean that this is the last we will see of these particular characters? If so, that begs the question, who is going to die? With Brandon Sanderson, with the Skyward series, I liked how he ended that, even though it was less heart-wrenching, but it was a happy ending, if you know what I mean. Whereas with the Mistborn, it was like everybody dies. And that was the adult series, and the Skyward was the young adult series. So with the Stormlight Archive, which is also an adult series, I am worried what he is going to do. But there are lots of things to think about. There's lots of things we don't know. It's obvious that the singers, listeners, and humans would be able to coexist peacefully, but it's just really odium that's the problem, and the fused, well, they can be defeated by those the knives with the anti-void light things in them. So I don't think it was hinted at that the fused could be trapped in gemstones, but I don't think the humans have discovered that yet, so that might play a part. But whether they will consider that honourable or not to leave them trapped in gemstones, whether they'll consider it more of a mercy to kill them with the blades, with the anti-void light thingies. And odium, now that Teravangian is the vessel. Oh, I hate him. And how he fooled Wit is worrying at the end of book 4, because he took away Wit's memory of what had just happened so that Wit wouldn't be tipped off that something was wrong. And we still don't know properly why the Spren and Radiance chose to sacrifice themselves, other than that they were willing to take the risk because their powers were going to destroy the world like it had of the humans' original world. But why would their powers destroy the world? Is it doing something to the natural forces or interfering with the rhythms? But the humans' world wouldn't have had rhythms and stuff. And then there's what the ghost bloods are doing with I don't know the spellings of stuff, because I only have what the narrators pronounce stuff. So is it Bar Ado Mishram, who's trapped in the unmade that is trapped in a gemstone or something, that now Shallan and the Ghostbloods are both gunning for. because Bar Ado Mishram was the one who enslaved the singers' minds originally, so that they became slaves in dull form, not able to think properly. So I don't know the Ghost Blood's motives, and are they wanting to invert that so that the humans become enslaved, or I'm not sure what the motives are there. But then it gets more confusing when they're talking about the Cosmere and all the planets, and because we just don't know what's involved there, so we can't really guess that. And Dalinar making the contract. That's going to go wrong. I don't know what's going to happen to Dalinar. Will he become effused? But will he be so strong that he eventually, even if he loses, will he be able to somehow influence so it turns out all right in the end, or will he just be eternally forever fused? But that's assuming he loses, but losing sort of feels inevitable at the moment in that contest of, what is it called, the challengers, contest of champions, yeah, that's it. Especially as it's Teravangian now. I don't know what Teravangian, whether it's he still wants to save the world, or whether he is now controlled by, or he can't keep a proper control or contain Odium's power, or whether he will, or whether there'll be a turning point where maybe Kharbranth comes under danger and he has to make a choice between whether he will save them and so thus keep Odium under control, or whether he'll go full out wanting control of the whole Cosmere, or so my favourite character is probably Kaladin, maybe predictably, but he seems fairly, now at the end of book 4, fairly sorted. I know he says it's not fully fixed yet, but I don't know where he's got to go, where he's got left to go as a character, but he's obviously got to go somewhere with Zeth now, back to Shinovar. I don't know what Zeth's purpose is now going to be, now that his sword has been used by Teravangian on Odium. I don't know if that's going to play more of a part, Sword Nimi, or whether that was its purpose, and why Kaladin, it'll be important for Kaladin to go to Shinovar. I didn't initially like Shallan so much, but now I like her a lot. But again, she seems a bit more sorted now, so I don't know. I know there's still things that she's got sort of holes in her past that she doesn't quite know yet, so that's still interesting, but she seems more stable now, so, and I like I know I'm just pronouncing this how the audiobooks do it, Adolin. So I don't want him to die. I like him. I don't want Kaladin to die. But Kaladin has this thing of, he's always the one to survive, and when everyone else dies, he's the one who still has to suffer and live through. So I don't know whether that expectation will get turned on the head and he'll die, or be left to suffer more, or And I really like Nirvani now after book 4. You know, I loved all her experiments and finding out about all the different lights and how she worked with Raboniel, and yeah, so, but she's come close to death already, so I don't know if, I'm not sure if he'll go there again. So I don't know if she's fairly safe in terms of being killed off. And we know Spren can die now. Well, oh, that was so sad with Teft. I don't like that. Teft, I love all the Bridge 4, you know, Teft, Rock, the Lopin. So that, I can't believe he killed off Teft already. I thought that would have been a bigger thing for book 5, and it's just the way it was done was so excruciating with the killing his Spren, and just as he had come to such a good place. So, and the book said that Kaladin wasn't ever going to see Rock again, but does that mean he's died or just been condemned to something or by his people? I really don't want that to be the end of Rock, because I love Rock. So I don't want Rock to die or the Lopin to die. Dalinar, I'm not too bothered if he dies. Not. I mean, he's fine, but I'm not as fond of him as other characters, maybe. Yes, we shall see. I am very excited. I completely forgot to mention Moash, who is the most hated character, of course. What role he's going to play. I used to think that, of course, he was going to be Odium's champion, but and now it's looking more like it won't necessarily be a battle of like a warrior's battle. It'll be more like a spiritual battle, in which case he wouldn't be very strong in that. But I don't know whether it's going to come down to a physical fight or just a spiritual fight. So we don't know who Odium is definitely going to choose, but I always assumed it was going to be Moash. We don't know what powers Dalinar has still got to find, what he's going to be able to do in terms of his bondsmith powers of creation, and whether Kaladin will be able to heal, is it Ishar? You know, the Herald's madness, so that the Herald will be able to teach Dalinar something to help him. I also don't want Kaladin's family to die. With the listeners, I haven't, with Venli and Eshonai and all that stuff, it hasn't been quite as interesting as the rest, but I'm getting more interested, I think. I don't know what part they're going to play. And Relaine and Renarin, all these things that I forgot to mention, which are probably going to be big parts. And Yasna, I don't know if that's just how they pronounce it in the audiobook. I don't know if that's how you spell it. I really liked Yasna in the first book when she was just being a scholar, but as queen it hasn't been quite as interesting, or we haven't seen her so much. I don't know what role she's going to play at the moment. She in Wit. I don't know what that's going to come to, but it doesn't seem that relevant at the moment. But yes, I think that's all that I forgot to say, maybe. So I'm very excited to read the 5th one. Well, listen. Yes, and I also forgot to say that I really like Lift. I Don't Want Her to Die. She's one of my favourites. Patton is my favourite Spren, I think. So I don't want anything bad to happen to him. Don't want anything bad to happen to Syl, Kaladin Spren. Oh yes, and I like Timber, Fenley's Spren. But the big thing that I forgot to say was about the Oath Pact and whether a new Oath Pact will have to be formed, and who will have to do a big sacrifice. Will it be one person, or will quite a few of the characters have to make a big sacrifice? But surely Brandon Sanderson wouldn't leave all those people being tortured forever, just to contain them all there. And I don't think that's like a solution anyway. So I don't know whether an Oath Pact is going to actually come into it or not.
If you enjoyed this video, please consider looking at gofundme.com/SaveJenny, where I'm fundraising for urgent and essential neurosurgery that I need that's not available in the UK. Thank you.